Hello viewers, this is our 5th program in our series on functional English. The focus of this program is on different ways of expressing opinion. I am going to tell you a tale. Once a baby mouse was playing merrily with her mother in a corner. All at once a black, brown cat appeared on the scene. Naturally, the baby mouse was very frightened. The mother mouse crept into a bush and said, "Wow, wow, wow, wow." The cat got frightened and ran away. The baby mouse turned to her mother and said, "Mother, how did you perform this wonderful miracle?" And the mother said, "Please remember, child, a second language can always be an asset." So my young learners, please remember that learning English as a second language can be of tremendous help to you. And what we are going to see in this program is different ways of accepting or not accepting the views expressed by people around you.
And this time, he has the inside story on how the Women's Reservation Bill was scuttled in the Parliament.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So, what's going on?
Oh, the usual stuff. Ravi's been telling us stories about his uncle. And this time, it's about investigative journalism.
Look, you've got to accept that this time, I have something very interesting to tell you.
The last time, his uncle was discussing with Arun Shourie if India should sign the CTBT or not. What is it about this time?
His uncle seems to have the inside story regarding the sabotage of the Women's Reservation Bill.
What do you mean, seems? My uncle does have the true story.
Oh, come on, Ravi. Every newspaper and magazine claims to have the true story. Are you trying to tell me that they are all wrong?
But
Please, not again. This is the 4th time you've told us all about it. I'm sure you can't listen to something I have to say for more than 5 minutes.
well, you are wrong. I do listen to people if there is something worth listening to.
Look, we have a snob here, a person who believes he has superior tastes.
All right, let's see if we can outwit this snob.
I feel the same way. I think it's time we did something about his jabbering.
Okay, Meenakshi, challenge accepted.
Well, shall we start then?
Okay, start. Ravi says that he can listen to someone for up to 10 minutes as long as that person has something interesting to say.
Haha, I have my own doubts.
Well, let's see if he does. David, can you note the time now? I'll tell the story of a little girl and a big bad wolf. This won't take more than 10 minutes. Start. One afternoon, a big wolf waited in a dark forest for a little girl to come along carrying her basket. "Are you carrying that basket to your grandmother?" asked the wolf. The little girl said, yes, she was. So the wolf asked where her grandmother lived, and the little girl gave him the details. The wolf then disappeared into the woods. When the little girl opened the door of her grandmother's house, she saw that there was somebody in bed with a nightcap and nightgown on. She was just about 20 feet from her bed when she saw that it was not her grandmother.
I don't think that's the way the actual story goes. She did not.
That's a record. You listened to me only for 2 minutes and then you intervened.
Well, you've twisted the story to serve your ends. We all know the story of Red Riding Hood. You can't fool us like this.
In my opinion, the little girl couldn't be fooled. Listen to the rest of the story and see what she did. The little girl knew that a wolf, even in a nightcap and a nightgown, did not look any more like a grandmother, as shown in any film. So the little girl took out a pistol from her basket and shot the wolf dead.
That's an interesting way to conclude the story. It is different from the older version. In fact, it is more in keeping with modern times.
You're absolutely right. Little children these days seem to grow more quickly, both physically and mentally. Perhaps it's something to do with their early schooling.
That's true. But what seems to influence them all the more is the media. The newspapers, the action movies, and the radio.
Well, all these do not justify the distortion of the original story. I don't think I can prescribe such stories for small children. Your story was unreal and unbelievable, also dangerous.
Why not? Children nowadays don't believe all that they hear. For example, the inside story about the women's reservation bill.
Hey, that's not a fragment of my imagination.
Maybe your uncle's.
Well, if your uncle's story is true, why not my story of a little girl who killed a big bad wolf with a gun? My story is definitely more real than any fairy tale.
Anyway, Ravi, you've lost. And now your punishment is that for the next 2 days, you will listen to us and not jabber.
All right, go on.
Oh no, no talking.
Communication is a process wherein the speaker and the listener are in constant transaction with each other. We express our opinions, we listen to the opinions of others. But what is an opinion? Opinions are tentative conclusions that we draw regarding persons, objects, or events. In day-to-day communication, it is possible that we agree or disagree with our listener. Well, if we have to resolve the agreement or the disagreement, especially disagreement, we need to use effective language. If we do not do so, then communication could fail. Today, we will talk about how to express one's opinion, 2, how to agree with others' opinions, and 3, how to disagree with others' opinions. Listen to what Meenakshi has to say about the little girl in her story.
In my opinion, the little girl couldn't be fooled.
There are other ways of being assertive. In very formal situations, we could say, I'm of the opinion that, as far as I'm concerned, speaking for myself. Such words and phrases are used in formal situations, that is, when the relationship between the speaker and the listener is asymmetrical. In informal situations, we could say, in my opinion, I believe, I think that, if you ask me. Whenever an opinion is expressed, the listener responds by either agreeing or disagreeing with the opinion. Let us see how one voices one's agreement.
I feel the same way. It's time we did something about his chattering.
You're absolutely right. Little children these days seem to grow more.
That's true. But what seems to influence them all the more?
There are other ways of expressing one's agreement. They are, I agree with you entirely. That's a good point. Of course. Yes, you're right. On the other hand, there are times when we do not accept others' opinions. We feel compelled to oppose them. What do we do then? Well, that is what Ravi did. He did not agree with Meenakshi's version of the Red Riding Hood story and therefore felt compelled to resist it. Let us see how Ravi disagrees with Meenakshi.
Well, I think you are wrong. I do listen to people if there is something worth listening to. I don't think that's the way the actual story goes. But all these do not justify the distortion of the original story. I don't think I can prescribe such stories for small children.
Disagreements can be voiced in many other ways, depending upon the context and the listener's status. You can voice disagreement in strong words like, I can't possibly agree with you. I disagree with you. On the other hand, you're wrong. If you begin with a no, it has to be followed by a negative statement. For example, no, I don't agree with you. No, I don't think so. No, you're wrong. Whereas, if we say yes, it has to be followed by a positive statement. Some examples are, yes, I agree with you, but, yes, I am of the same opinion, but, yes, that's a good point. But what seems to be the case, yes, you may be right, but I have my doubts. These are polite ways of saying that you have your own views. In order that communication, or rather to be specific, conversation, to be effective, we should learn to be assertive and not aggressive. In today's episode, we saw the varied ways in which we can agree or disagree with others' opinions. We hope you can use them in your day-to-day conversation. Bye.
So you have seen now how Ravi, Meenakshi, David, Priya, they have expressed their views, they have expressed their opinions. They have also made comments on opinions. There are different ways of making comments on what someone has said. This is what we mean by opinion. Someone has expressed his opinion, and you are reacting to the opinion of that person. You can agree with him or you can disagree with him. The point that you have to remember is that you agree with a person about something. You disagree with a person about something. But you can agree to a suggestion. You can agree to an idea. So agree to a suggestion, agree with a person or disagree with a person about something. Now consider the following. You are wrong. I think you are wrong. I'm afraid you are wrong. I'm sorry you are wrong. You may have made a point, but I'm terribly sorry I don't accept what you have said. Your point is well taken, but I find it very difficult to accept it. Now what we see is, as we go down, we are becoming more and more polite. So you can disagree with a person in a forceful way without sounding rude. The point that you have to remember, my viewers, is that agreement and disagreement is a basic function of language as a system of communication. You can agree with a person about something, you can disagree with a person about something without sounding rude in a polite way. This is how you can make use of English in an effective way in a variety of situations.